Welcome to Dice and Mind, a podcast hosted by Brad Brown and Jason Kaufman to explore the intersection of life, games, science, music, philosophy, and creativity through interviews with leading creatives. All are welcome in this space.
You and I have been talking lately about writing opportunities
Mm-hmm.
and things. Now we've been talking about this for a while, but I've had like increased interest, and we've been talking about this regarding, you know, where can we leverage our interest in developing content under the DIM brand. This isn't anything that's new to the folks
Nope.
that listen.
Yep, we talked about it before online.
Yeah.
Yep, on air.
And so um we've talked about different areas of focus, and we'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
that more in the future. But the area where I'll talk about is in the realm of like high fantasy, like fifth edition,
Mm-hmm.
things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so I had been I just kind of dove into 5e just with the idea of reading and kind of like engrossing myself in the realm of D20 5e.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you've
And
really been down the rabbit hole lately.
yeah, and when I did that, I came across um something. It was just, I don't know if it was, I don't remember if it was in Reddit or if it was in Facebook Reels or where it was, but I came across something called Date Night Dungeons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now an intriguing, this is really intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I'd be using it anytime soon, but myself, but I'm like, now this is really fascinating. Now we've talked with folks, uh, you know, the balls with the D&D duets and things
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
But this is
And we should
this is
clarify that, and they're a lovely couple who create duet D&D adventures together, but not
yes,
for the express purpose of for couples.
for couples. Yes, thank you. These are couples based D&D adventures.
Right.
And I saw
Where
this
the
in
couple kind of they take turns GMing.
right.
Hmm.
And so I dug into it and saw and researched and got the information about Tom and Cathy
Yep.
Thrush,
Thrush. Yep.
Thrush,
Yep.
and
Yeah, because
sent
I
them a
remember.
message.
Because you texted me this, what you just said. You texted me weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I think I was like in the kitchen, and I saw the text and I paused, and I think my response was, "Tell me more."
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't asking you to join me on a romantic adventure. I was asking,
No, no.
about and I'm like, this would be an interesting topic and the
Yes.
interesting couple to have on the show.
Well, like you said, we haven't seen that
No,
elsewhere or before with any IP or around any IP.
no. So I was really pleased when Cathy messaged us back. She had done her research. Cathy, kudos to you for actually sitting and actually listening to some episodes of ours.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Yeah, we apologize.
Yeah.
Not in advance, but
Thanks for taking one for the team.
yeah, but actually listening to us
Hmm.
and came back and said we listened to the show
And
and
in spite of that, we'd love to be on.
exactly, yes. So they joined us from Portugal.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Very cool. So
Hmm.
we had a discussion with them not only about Date Night Dungeons, but the other projects that they've done.
Wow, really creative couple.
Really
Yeah.
creative couple. And as well about being expats in Portugal and
Right.
about their experiences living there.
Yep.
So just a really cool discussion with a really neat couple, fascinating fascinating journey to get to where they are with the products that they
Yeah.
developed.
I mean, Kathy is a prolific writer,
Yes.
right? And Tom is a prolific artist, drawer. I mean, if you look at their urban realms, it's
She's actually the drawer.
I'm sorry, the mapper. Sorry,
Yeah. And he's
mapper.
the and he
He's the
was the
mapper.
he yeah, and he's the
Mm.
D&D guru.
Right, right.
So um and
But
so
together, what they put out there, they're just these beautiful first-rate products.
Yes.
And again, it was neat because Brad, you and I on Dice and Mind, we've talked for years now about how welcoming and supportive and humane the RPG and RPG adjacent community is.
Yes.
And one of the things I most enjoyed about talking with Kathy and Tom was, like you said, here are a couple American expats in Portugal writing games, playing D&D. It's another reminder, not just of the complex interweb connections of humanity, but that you have TTRPGs all over the world. And just as they're taking off here, they seem to be taking off globally too.
Yes. Yes. It was fascinating.
Tom and Cathy Thrush are the founders of Urban Realms. D&D is a huge part of their lives. It's the way they stay in touch with friends, an escape from everyday life, and a creative outlet. It's something they've been doing together since before their marriage in May of 2003. So, it was no surprise that they wanted to share some of their best ideas with the rest of the D&D community. But as their list of ideas for projects grew, they realized they couldn't do it all themselves. So, they enlisted their good friend Daryen O'Dell to help. Now the three of them do their best to stay in touch with the amazing people they've met through Urban Realms and bring more passion projects to life.
So, Tom, Kathy, thanks for joining us from across the sea. We don't get to talk to folks a lot of times from across. I'm going to use the phrase across the pond, but um, we have you from Portugal, and that's awesome. We were just
Mhm.
talking a little bit about learning the language, or in
Yeah.
my case, not being able to learn any language. Um, but thanks again for joining us. We want to talk about not only um, Date Night Dungeons, but Kathy, you have books out there. You all have lots of different writings, so
Mhm.
very prolific in terms of like your catalog. And so, you know, how did you, if you
Yeah,
don't mind,
Yeah.
just to kind of even stepping back a little bit, um, you know, how did you, you know, together independently get into even writing um fantasy, whatever,
yeah,
writing period?
Well, thanks for having us, first of all. I'm
Yes.
happy to be here.
Yes.
I think the writing aspect is kind of where I came from. Tom came from the D&D end of things. So he started playing D&D at what, 12?
12 years old. Yeah.
okay.
Um, and I started writing when in high school. I couldn't get a job after my senior year in high school, so I wrote a book. And then I went off to college, and my mom took it to my old school because there was an author coming to speak, and kind of gave her the manuscript. And first thing I knew about it, I was getting letters saying, well, I think this should be published, but I don't know anybody who can illustrate it. And I said, oh, well, I'm in college for an art degree. So, so,
Oh,
Yeah.
so I illustrated it too.
yeah.
So that came out when I was junior in college, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Quest of the Fays, which is about two fairies trying to
Yeah,
save the world,
it's kind
or
of early.
Fae, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, it was after the Dark Crystal. I think that was
Yeah.
kind of thing that really
Oh,
started. That and
Okay.
Lord of the Rings inspired me.
Hmm.
So that's how I spent my summer.
Well, so you both come from your own histories of being deeply interested in fantasy for sure.
Sure.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
different aspects of it, if you will, or different interactions with it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And then fast forward a bunch of years, and then we were playing a lot of D&D and stuff she had played in college,
Hmm.
was it? And then when we got together, then introduced her to my friends. We were still playing, we still do. Uh, and I read a book about side side hustles or startups or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And an idea was just art. And we're trying to think, well, maybe I could do some stylized map. They make money or something. And we watched an episode of the Colbert Report where he had Lord of the Rings. I think, I'm not sure if The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings was out, but he showed a map of
The US.
of the US. You know, Kansas was corn done. Florida, sticking out like it was penis tirith. And I mean, it was hilarious.
And we're like, oh, what a great idea.
Yeah. So
So our first Kickstarter was for a map of the San Francisco Bay Area in Lord of the Rings style.
Okay,
So,
why San Francisco?
because we lived in San Jose.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I love the whole Bay Area. Okay.
Yeah.
That I would very much like to see this map. So
I know I've known
yeah.
Jason. I've
Oh
known
my
Jason for
God.
30 years, and as soon as you said San Francisco, his face, I know his face. His face just went boing. It just lit up.
Yeah.
Hoping we might be going out in another month again,
Oh,
but we'll see.
nice.
Yeah. So you both illustrate or did illustrate?
I did the
She,
illustration.
yeah,
Okay.
she does.
The, the map making is different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, as we were playing, it became evident that we were losing track of what was happening in prior sessions. So we started with just a spiral notebook, writing
Yeah.
down, somebody would log every game. And then she came up with the idea, hey, why don't we make this into a booklet? And then we'll have sections, treasure, people you met, how'd the adventure go, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera.
So we started doing
Those sold like hotcakes until the copycats showed up.
yeah.
Initially, the copycats were
Wow.
blank, just with cool covers, but then eventually they just flooded the market, and we hardly sell any of those anymore. But Cathy kept mentioning, there should really be an adventure for couples. That seems
Yeah.
like this is lacking in the market, and she was not wrong. I was dubious and like, well, okay, I guess we could work on this, and then we did a Kickstarter for that too, and that went really well.
Yeah, and those just started taking off, and then people were like, well, when's the next one coming out? And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Then her part was she's a writer, it's creative, did the artwork. I checked the numbers, and
Yeah, he's the guy who, well, we come up with the ideas together,
that's true. Yeah.
but yeah, I do the heavy lifting on that, and he makes sure all the numbers are right and all the stats and
Or at
everything.
least I hope I do. Yeah.
We try.
So when you're in the dungeon as a couple, we'll just leave it at that. So is that akin to playing a duet, or is it different? Like, does one of you have to GM? Are you both in the game?
Yes.
How does that work?
It's a little bit like the what do you call it? Like those murder mystery dinners.
Mhm.
Like we write it in 4 sections so that if you want, you can trade off who DMs each section.
Nice. Okay.
So you have all the information you need up to that point, and then for the next scenario, so you can trade off and the other person, so you can both be players and DMs. And we try to do as much of the DMing as we can, so there's not too much left for people to do while they're still playing. But you have to, somebody's got to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we want some surprise for the person who's running the game as well, which is why it's kind of in
Yeah.
chunks.
Yeah.
I just see it as it caught my attention because I'm always fascinated by I use tech terms as different ingress points to the RPG world.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll have you'll have one in the couple that
Right.
plays the game and maybe one that isn't, and this
Yeah.
is just a perfect opportunity
Yes.
intro the other person into the RPG realm.
We hear that a lot, like, oh, I got my significant other to play,
Nice.
and
That's
this is their way in. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I imagine, especially for newer couples, there's an inherent danger. What if you kill their PC?
Oh, jeez.
We try to like,
it's
yeah, there's a lot of balancing going on.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
I mean, you can't always, figure out what you can't say what the dice are going to do.
Yeah.
But we
Right.
try to have, a potion of rejuvenation, or what is it?
Yeah.
Revivify or something.
Somewhere in there,
Okay.
so you can
Okay.
bring them back if you have to.
And we try to put some guardrails without railroading,
Mhm,
but it's
mhm.
it's tough, and we do play testing with friends. Our friends Vince and David pretend to be a couple, even though they're both married to women and everything, but
It's great.
that is hilarious in itself. But they managed to break stuff
Yeah,
and
good.
come up with things we never thought.
I'm just thinking, sorry, babe, roll for initiative could be a deal breaker at certain points in a long-term relationship.
Right. And I'm hoping that whoever's DMing will realize that, romance trumps anything
Mhm.
else in the situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or don't play, or don't play right after you fought or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know how to get back at her now. I know how to get
Right,
back at
right.
him. You know.
That is.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, do you ever receive feedback from players?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because this is so unique in terms of the romantic duet, if you will. Like what are things you hear from couples who play these games?
Oh, we heard from one woman who said it saved her marriage.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm like, okay, that's not our job, and maybe you should go get counseling. But yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a rather dramatic email as to what was going on in her life at the time
Ah, understood.
and such.
But most people just say, oh, thank you. It was a great way to get my spouse into gaming, and we had such a great time. And it's nice to hear as people say, oh, well, those characters, we use those characters are going on. They're having other adventures with those characters. And that's always fun to hear that
Yeah.
my characters are living other lives.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
that's
we give them
cool.
pre-generated characters as well.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
just hit the ground and
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so in the books, and so now I've looked through them, but I want it for those that haven't who are listening. So within it come with pre-gens. So for folks that maybe even haven't rolled a character or anything like that, they can pick
Right.
it up and they can kind of start right from session zero is almost kind of is taken care of for them if they want to.
Yeah. I mean, they do need to know some of the rules of D&D, but the basics. But we
Yeah.
usually tell them if they've never. We get a lot of questions like, "I've never played D&D before. How do I do this?" And I'm like, "Well, watch D&D on the internet or
Yeah.
play it
Yeah.
with somebody. So at least you see how it works and you've had some experience before you try to do it with just on your own. Because otherwise, I imagine it gets frustrating."
Yeah. Or
Now, do you have them published through a publisher here in the States?
Well, we are the publisher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm just
That makes
to
it
talk.
easier.
So we're fascinated by this process. So you two started Urban Realms,
Mhm.
right? And so I'm assuming this isn't like out of your home office. How do you actually publish it? Like how was that navigating that from the business side?
Yeah.
So the books are printed by Amazon.
it just
They
print on
are.
demand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
Oh,
awesome.
we sell them
wow.
print on demand on Amazon. We buy them from Amazon, and then our friends in Montana, our other two people, Mike and Daryen, they ship for us out of Montana since we moved. I was doing all the shipping until we moved to Portugal.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
we're not that big yet that
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had to hire that out. So yeah, we
'Cause
still
It
everything
also
ourselves.
saves. Also cuts out one less middleman too. Then you can.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm very impressed with that. I mean, just looking through, like they're so they're so beautifully produced. They look so good internally. I mean, yeah, seriously. But
thank you. Yeah.
I mean, truly. But I was not aware that Amazon, that the print on demand could handle that level of output.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks
It's
really
amazing.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they do a good job. Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes the covers are
yeah. Sometimes it takes
off
a
a
few
little
tries.
bit
Okay,
and,
sure.
and such,
So
and you
so
dial it in.
I have to ask then more for just generating sales. Is it better for you? Do you prefer when people order through Urban Realms? Should they go to Amazon? What's the ideal there? How does that work?
We make a little more money per book if people buy them directly from
Yeah.
us.
Mm,
But sometimes it's nice just to see that money rolling in and not have to do the shipping too. So
right. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if they order through Urban Realms, then you need to get them and then ship them.
Ship them out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's fair.
Which we have an office, the office that our friends have in
Right.
Bozeman.
Right.
Uh, they have stacks of books and inventory and
Excellent.
bags ready to go and such as
Okay.
well.
It's our friend Daryen who's doing all
That's
the packing.
wonderful.
Yeah,
What a
and she
good business
She
actually,
does a
manager.
great job.
yeah,
Yeah.
and collaborated with one of
She did one
the
of the books for us.
books. Yeah,
She did
Wow.
the Arrows of Eros for
Okay.
us. Yeah.
yeah.
So she's getting into the writing as well. So
Oh,
it's
neat.
very,
So
yeah.
then because of the business model, how you do this, I assume you were not overly adversely impacted shipping wise by the pandemic and the subsequent fallout.
Um,
At least here in the States.
Yeah, not really.
not really the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
we did the Kickstarter for the Librem list,
mhm,
I think near the end of the pandemic, and
Mhm.
I believe I was going into the post office with a mask on to drop
dropping
off
Yeah, I'll
books.
bet.
books and such, but
Yeah.
it didn't really impact us that much
Nice.
and people were playing online and
Hmm.
such even more.
Yeah. I think it helped that more people were home and looking for stuff to do. You know?
Yes,
Big time.
especially couples. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially couples, which isn't something that ever was really addressed. Certainly not in the news. There was rightfully so a lot of talk about, a lot of news coverage about what's happening with kids and academics and whatnot. Of course, how it affected work, but like I think of like my wife and me during the pandemic, and our girls were still home at the time. But I think about that, and I think, it was she's much more outgoing than I am. Everyone is much more outgoing than I am. And it was very, very rough for her. I I really lived my best life during the pandemic. Like people, I could do everything I had to from home and no one was bothering me. But I think
Right.
for couples, it was really difficult. And maybe your books, your games were the small antidote here and there during
Right.
that.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
liked having Tom around so much. I'm like, yeah, because I always worked from home.
Okay.
So, okay, now I'm not alone all day. This is great. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fantastic.
So even beyond the you know date night dungeons and so on, you have other material that's out there too. So
Yes.
Well,
you
tell
know,
us about it, please.
You want
yeah,
to talk about your Librum of lists?
Uh,
yeah.
sure. So I saw somebody's book of lists that I ordered on Amazon, and there were a bunch of typos and all sorts of things in there. And so, wow, this is kind of rubbish. I could do better than this. And then I got to work, and then
Off and on.
off and on. It's like, I could do this over a long period of time really slowly. This is what I told myself, apparently. But eventually got it out the door, and that was also a collaboration between the two of us.
Yeah, I did the artwork.
The artwork and editing. And then we would drive to and from San Jose down to Salinas or Monterey to see our friends
And play D&D.
or up to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then work on the lists in the car, coming up with creative
Wow.
names for
Dragon.
dragons or cobblers or whatever happened
Wow.
to be in the book. So it was
That was a lot of
a lot
fun.
of fun, and we had a great time making the video, the Kickstarter video for it.
Mm.
I think only a few people watched it entirely, but
But it amused us.
yeah, it was a infomercial. Does this ever happen to you? And then, oh, you meet in a bar, and
That's funny.
so it's better watched than discussed, but
I can see though how and I'm just going to in my head imagine you were not on the freeway, but I can see how like traveling US 1 back and forth to Monterey could really generate some creativity, especially fantastical stuff.
yeah,
Sure. Yep.
yeah,
Now
for
you
sure.
have so there's Libra lists for both Pathfinder 1, 3.5 and then 5th edition.
Mhm.
And have you been looking at like broadening it out to like looking at like maybe 2nd edition Pathfinder? We're not a spoiler show, so I don't want to ask for
Yeah.
spoilers.
It just came out.
Just published it, although it needs some tweaks, but make
Wow.
a formal announcement once I finish the yeah, so it's It's right
Oh, look
here.
at that. Oh, awesome.
But
Okay.
See,
really,
that's so good looking.
Yeah.
but the only, thank you.
Thank you.
Or thank her, yeah. Uh,
The dragon picture is actually from the coloring book I did. So I did a
Oh,
coloring
cool.
book of D&D monsters.
Yep.
from A to Z when
A to
she
Z.
broke her ankle.
Yeah, I had a broken ankle. I got a lot done while my ankle was broken.
Oh, I'll bet you
Um,
did.
So it's a picture and then a story on the backside. So a short story about what happened in the picture. So we've got those out. And
That's
then
cool.
my
Yes, a
novel.
lot of really fun stories.
I,
The creepiest one I thought, and
oh
one of the
yeah.
best ones was for the Mind Flayer, and
Oh,
just from the person's perspective who was having their brain eaten.
yeah.
So it was really creepy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so pivoting just a little bit, obviously you two have been married for quite some time, right?
Mhm.
You've been together for a long time. If we may, what brought you to Portugal?
Uh,
Not
um,
D&D.
Oh
no,
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 no.
no, we're having trouble finding D&D players here
Although we're not looking very hard. At
because we
least
don't
I'm
speak
not.
the language very well yet.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Um, a lot of different things. We wanted to explore Europe. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like the world's oldest open air museum. So much
Wow.
history and so much
Yeah.
lovely culture and everything.
Hmm.
And it's hard to do from California,
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a long flight.
Hmm.
And back in, I want to say 2010, maybe. I read The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, and he was talking about taking mini vacations and living elsewhere in the world. And it's like, well, hey, why don't we go to Europe sometime? And so we kind of noodled on that for a while, and then
It's a few years to get it
yeah,
organized.
Not bad.
thought it would be France, but that didn't really transpire. And then saw Portugal kind of floats to the top of the list in Money Magazine and other
Yeah,
places. A great place to retire. It's
definitely.
very safe.
Yeah, it's the seventh safest country in the world.
Really.
It's like,
And the weather's sort of similar to California,
Hmm.
but a little
Hmm.
more rain. Same with the coastline and such, and
Hmm.
uh,
and we could retire here for the
ish.
most ish,
Yeah,
which we
Yeah,
couldn't in California.
yeah.
So
Silicon Valley
yeah.
was
It's
is
crazy.
super expensive,
Yeah.
so gave us a chance to explore Europe from here, and
have more time
Amazing.
to ourselves.
yeah. So we bought a condo here, sold our house in
Wow.
Yeah,
California,
yeah.
and
Here for the long haul, I think.
yeah, as long as they'll let us stay, we have uh, almost 2 more years for being tried for citizenship, and we'll see how
Excellent.
that goes.
And there's a large expat community in Portugal, isn't there?
There is,
Yeah,
yeah, there are a lot of Americans here, a
Yeah,
lot of British there.
yeah.
Most Portuguese, at least younger Portuguese, all they learned English in school, so it's
Wow.
not too difficult to
Right.
get by.
Mhm.
We're outside of Lisbon, so we're
Oh,
about half
wow.
an hour from well,
from
actually
the
15
airport.
minutes from Lisbon.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
but we're still on
Incredible.
the other side of the river, which is a little more rural, a
Hmm.
little quieter. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's the best of both worlds, right? Where it's quiet here, but we can be downtown Lisbon in half an hour.
yeah. Go see a
Incredible.
concert or
Yeah.
ballet. I haven't been to a ballet since I was a little kid, so it
Yeah.
was fun to go and not understand the language or anything, but I could watch them
Sounds
hop
like a
around.
ballet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get the same experience here for the most
Right.
part too.
I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on. I'm here with
yeah.
my
Yeah.
wife and
It
girls.
But
looks pretty.
but it looks
Right.
cool. There's a
Looks
lot of
cool, yeah.
people with an 18 dexterity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done, yeah. So okay, so back to that notion of gaming. You mentioned you have not yet found a lot of gamers, but like when I travel, I'm really curious if there is much of a gaming culture, right? Like a tabletop wherever I go. What's that like out there? Is there much of a TTRPG community?
Yeah, I think so. There are numerous game shops in Lisbon proper.
Okay.
There's one on our side, I don't know, probably 15 minutes from us or something, I think. But they have game nights with D&D and Warhammer,
Wow.
and I think they have Magic. And so it's been a few months since we've been in one of those stores,
Hmm.
but they have a reasonable presence.
Hmm.
And I think there are people who are playing.
Yeah, we just haven't,
Yeah.
we still play over Zoom with our friends back home.
Yeah,
So we
it's nice.
haven't started games over here yet because we
Hmm.
still have games going on.
And use Fantasy Grounds, which is what we did during the pandemic too.
Right.
we've played. I hadn't played as much D&D since I was, I don't know, unemployed in Buffalo when I used to live there. Uh, During the pandemic, it seemed
Yeah,
like
we
we had a
played
game
so much
going a
D&D.
few nights a week and then on the weekends.
It was
So
great.
How many games do you have how many games do you have going like right now?
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of.
right now, I think we have 3 going right now,
Wow.
but it's usually every few weeks, every
Okay.
few months.
Trying to get people's schedules to line up.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
that, say versus calendar kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the DC is like 30 or something. I mean, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys are navigating like multiple disparate time zones as well.
Yes.
That's
That's a
also
serious complicating factor.
Yeah.
That's been a big challenge too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, trying to make that work. And then one of our regular players had a child a couple of years ago, so that's the
Yeah, that'll
young.
impact it
It
a
does
little bit.
affect the metric.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
changes
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah.
Most of our other friends, the kids have gone, so now they have more time again. So that's good.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of friends at both ends
Yeah,
of that
well,
spectrum.
except some have grandkids now, so that's also
Getting pulled right back in.
right back into birthdays and all that stuff. Yeah.
From a timing perspective, when we talk about, let's just for example, like with like date night dungeons, um, you know, what's kind of like the workflow for you to put that together, and how much time does it normally take to do that?
The first one probably took 2 years, I would say. That'd probably take me about a year. But
Okay.
I'm a very focused person. Sometimes we say my focus needs less focus. Says I get up in the morning, walk into the other room, sit down at the computer, and I just start working. And he has to like pry me away from the computer at some point. You know,
Yeah, but the last one you did was
I'm getting quicker.
probably 5 to 6 months, I think. So, we start to brainstorm the timeline and then try and figure out breakpoints and who will they meet, what are the adversaries, what's the big bad or the problem at the end, and try and hash that out. And then she goes section by section, filling it in. And
We have people testing it as we're going.
yeah, we've
Smart.
lately made use of people on Fiverr as well to do the testing, just getting people to play test. So that's worked out pretty good to get some reasonable feedback.
Yeah, and you can count on them getting to it. If you're just asking people.
Asking our friends, they're not as responsive as they were first time around. Now that we're on to, that was our 4th one we released, I think. 3rd, 4th, yeah.
And scheduling is always an issue. So if you're paying people, then scheduling is much less of an issue.
Right, they
Imagine
make
so.
time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and out on Urban Realms, there's 4 of them available. So you have Heroes of Henge.
Mhm.
That's the
The
latest.
latest one.
Yeah.
That's the latest. The first one was that
Blackthorn Clan.
Yeah, the Rescue of
Okay.
the Blackthorn Clan.
And
got it.
then White Wedding and Daryen did the Arrows of Arrows.
Okay. Yep. So
Yeah.
Well, do you have one that you would recommend as a starting point if a couple wanted to start to explore these?
I think the simplest ones are probably the Rescue of the Blackthorn Clan and the Arrows of Arrows. Those two, there's not extra characters. There's like the White Wedding. You've got the 2 players, but there's also 2 NPCs. So that's more work for the DM.
More to do. Yeah.
and I get it for those that they're listening, white as in WIGHT, not white as in color. I love the play on words. So.
Yep.
Hmm.
We also have what we're kind of thinking of it. Well, we started another line. So I also wrote 2 historical fiction novels. And we decided that, well, it would be fun to tie those into our gaming stuff too. So we wrote a game to go that takes place after the second novel. So I liked the idea of getting to know the characters really well through a book and then getting to step into their shoes and play them. I thought that'd be kind of fun for people.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'd like to do more of those, and maybe actually take some classic novels, like Frankenstein or what's the
Dracula.
or
No.
it's the pirate one?
Dracula.
Oh, Treasure Island.
Treasure Island or some of those, and then have, what happens after, and let people step into those roles too and play those as games. That'd be a lot of fun.
And you publish everything in-house. You got control over all of this. Nice.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to that other fiction, she did spend many years writing
Lady Blade.
Lady Blade. Yes, the daughter of a famous Italian fencing maestro,
Right.
which started off as a screenplay way back in 2001.
Yeah, I optioned the screenplay twice. Almost got it made to a movie. They couldn't quite get the funding.
Wow.
So, and then I discovered that if you write a screenplay and sell it, you lose the story rights.
Right.
So you can never write anything about those characters again unless you get permission from the. So I decided, but if you write the book first, then you can keep the story rights but sell the screen rights.
Interesting. That makes sense. Okay.
So that's why I spent 10 years writing the book, learning how to write a book.
Wow.
And then now the book is out finally about 6 months ago. So now we're looking at maybe going back to the screenplay and seeing if we can finally get something done with that.
Oh, neat.
But it's a full-length novel. Then there's a prequel, which is a little shorter, and a short book.
Yeah.
Stories about her as being born, and then her as a little kid. And
she's born during a pirate attack, so
as one is, right?
As one. Yeah.
Yeah, I like you bringing it up. It kind of, when I was reading about the Lady Blade series, like you said, reading a novel and then being able to like play as the characters and play in the world, to me that reminded me of like when I was young, like
I know where you're going.
yeah, you know where I'm going.
Just choose your own adventure.
Yeah,
Or
no,
whatever.
I
No.
was thinking like Dragonlance, being able to like play in Kryn.
Oh, right.
Reading like the original chronicles and the original legends, and then being able to play in that world.
Yes.
So you get
Fair.
really engrossed into the world by reading. And but Jason and I are both voracious readers, and then being able to then go and be able to play in that world. And we're big world building geeks.
Yeah.
So that to me is just,
that is pretty cool.
that is actually very, very cool. Very, very cool.
And the notion that you can do it as a couple is really unique.
Well,
So
speaking of geeks, I was a kind of a fencing nerd. I mean, I fenced for 20 years. So that's like that's my fencing nerd part coming out in all
There
these
we
books
go.
about swords. So
Better it comes out in the books.
you've got to
Yeah.
be able to find some way to do that over there. I mean, you're like over in Europe, which is where,
here it's called eskrima, but there's not a lot of fencing in Portugal. I think
Well, there's a couple schools in Lisbon if you
there's in Lisbon.
want to give it a try.
Yeah, once I know the language a little better.
Yeah.
I'm also an introvert, so like,
Yeah.
it's a challenge.
That is very fair.
Do
Yeah.
you do have you done a lot of, since you've been over there, have you done like a lot of travel around Europe or?
Yes, we've been doing quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we let's see, geez. When we first got here, we got a residence card allowing us to leave the country. Went to Luxembourg, which was beautiful and quaint and all the things that you'd expect. And on our anniversary, we did Zurich for a couple of days, and then went to Tuscany and drove around there for a little bit, where we went to our
Ireland
honeymoon.
twice.
Ireland for a
Wow.
wedding. Helsinki. If you ever go to Helsinki, you want to see
I've
the
been there. Yeah.
public library there is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Nodding like you.
I worked in Helsinki I had to travel there a lot and worked there a lot, and I loved it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah,
Except
it's
in summer when it's 3 a.m. and it's still light out. And, you forgot to put the blackout curtains on, and you wake up and you're like, oh crap, I'm late for work, and then you realize, no, it's not 8 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock. You didn't look at put your glasses on before you look at the clock.
But think of the productivity. Think of the productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite place to like visit in Europe? So
It's hard to say. Well, Portugal.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
That's
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides from, yeah. And boy, everything's so different.
Mhm.
We love Zurich and some of the Nordic countries, but they're not as friendly. You know,
Mhm.
the South seems to be friendlier, but also hotter. So, everything's got its good points and its bad points, but just exploring is so much fun.
Yeah.
We're going down.
Have you encountered any challenges being expats or people like seeing you as expats traveling around or anything like that?
Not really.
No, I can't think of a time where anyone has given us a hard time. I know there's been kind of some sensational headlines occasionally, you're sick of Americans, something or other, but
We've never experienced that
haven't experienced that.
Nice.
Everybody here has been really sweet and helpful. And it's been one of the things that's been wonderful about Portugal is the
Yeah.
people, just how giving and helpful. And we couldn't find the train one day because the entire Google Maps network was down. And somebody said, "Oh,
Jeez.
here, let me take you to the train station. It's confusing." And it was,
Nice.
I don't know, 6 blocks away, and they still
Wow.
walked us there and made sure we got on the right side
It's really
Wow.
something.
the train and went the right place. So
Says a lot.
yeah.
Have you
So
looked at?
otherwise,
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, have you looked
just say,
at? Oh, my bad. I keep interrupting it. I think it's
Oh,
because
no.
I think it's my connection's just probably a little bit
Oh,
laggy.
yeah,
That's
well, they're
why
gonna
I
have a
remember.
delay going across the planet, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was just gonna just carry on with just saying that no, all the places we traveled through. I bought a car in Germany, and we hit 8 different countries on the
Incredible.
way back. That might have been
Incredible.
this one,
Oh,
but
I want to do
everybody
that.
was just splendid. I recommend it.
Yeah. Yes. Every chance I get, my God. Yes.
you get inspiration. I mean, I have to imagine you get inspiration just for writing, in gaming, just from being over
Yeah.
in that
Yes,
world.
yeah.
And for D&D.
And for D&D, there are so many castles around, as you imagine. Here,
Yeah.
we went to a Ren fair where the castle was built, I think, in the 1100s. It was
Just
like,
incredible.
the Ren fair
Oh.
was inside the castle, and they're jousting inside. I mean, it was just surreal after, going to the Ren fair in Sterling, New York, which was wonderful, beautiful, but it
In a castle.
wasn't in a castle from 1100. So,
No, definitely not.
no.
Oh, that's just incredible.
So we were in a bookstore a couple days ago, and the bookstore was founded in 1720, and like it's older than our country.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
Just
That's
so much history.
now that's it. Jason and I love independent bookstores. Now that's an independent bookstore that I would love to
Right.
visit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yes.
Called
I agree.
Bertrand. Yeah.
Well, Bertrand's is a chain,
But yes,
but
but they're, yeah.
that store in particular is the oldest. Everybody's got to have a qualifier, right? The oldest continuously operated bookstore in the world.
Really?
So they stamp your
Whoa.
book when you buy a book there saying as such.
And we were having writers group there because they have a cafe.
Amazing.
We would go there and sit and write. And if that's not inspiration, I don't know what
Oh,
is.
seriously.
Oh.
I mean, absolutely incredible.
Let me just ask. So they have writers groups. So it's just people get together and
Yeah,
you-
it was just a meetup.
Mhm.
And
people were from all over the world, which was a lot of fun
Yeah.
because it was in Lisbon, which is, it's the capital city. So
Mhm.
there were people
from Angola, the woman who started it was it Serbia,
I think so.
Slovenia, one of those S countries.
Irish,
An Irish woman, the Scottish guy who was hilarious.
everybody was from
And-
all over.
Yeah.
There was a woman
Venezuela.
from Colorado too.
Oh yeah, the woman from Colorado who worked from home remotely doing tarot card readings for people back in the US.
It's an interesting bunch.
Yeah.
That's
but
great.
that has to be like inspirational just to even like hear those stories and then kind of generate and
Yeah.
write
Just the
things.
creativity.
Yeah.
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 And to have it in the water like that, that's such a big deal.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. They kept moving the location around on us every week. And that got a bit old as we were driving over there to park, and because there's traffic to get over the bridge that, so we stopped going after, I don't know, 8 months or something like that. So,
But we
but
still
yeah,
in touch occasionally with some
yeah.
people.
That's
So,
What an adventure. I mean, good for you both to make that kind of transition and then still maintain everything else. That's impressive.
yeah.
and we are very fortunate.
Yeah. And 20 years ago, we couldn't have done it
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
Google Maps and,
Google Translate, DeepL Translate,
Yeah, these are game
Zoom.
changers.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
completely. 20 years ago, driving around here with a Thomas guide or whatever the equivalent would be absolutely confusing.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
long distance phone calls, no video for, I don't know, $800 a month. I'm not even sure what it would cost, right?
Oh my God, long distance. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd lose track of all of our friends.
Yeah.
But thanks to modern technology, it's been far more manageable.
Yeah.
It's a challenge for sure. We don't want to make it sound like it was easy moving here. There were a lot of times where we thought, "Oh my God, what were we thinking? Where's
Yeah.
our friends?" And
Yeah.
yeah, we can't read the sign. And what are these foods in the store? And what's with that pig and the leg and all that? Yeah, it's just a different world.
Yeah. Kathy and Tom, we so appreciate you spending time with us. We want to be mindful of your time. Maybe to start to close us out. I know Brad sort of asked a related question earlier, but like forecasting, like not tomorrow, but like looking out over the next 2 to 3 years, like what would you like to, again, not spoilers, what would you like to be in the future for Urban Realms? Where would you maybe like to go in a direction or with something that you have not yet done?
Well, I have a script for a kind of a comedy that I would like to see turned into a coloring or into a graphic novel. That would
Uh,
be fun. Um,
Oh,
what about you?
I have a couple ideas for mainstream kind of novel, or not novels, modules for playing. Would like to see them see the light of day, and also would be fun to see something like we talked about Treasure Island, to have the
Games.
continuing adventures of
right.
uh, whatever stories happen to be in the public domain.
And we've talked
Maybe
about
Sherlock Holmes starts to
Yeah, that's what I
investigate
was thinking. Yeah.
monsters, or yeah.
and we've talked about doing games specifically for like parents and kids to play together.
Oh, interesting.
We haven't really, delved into that yet, but that might be kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
And we've got ideas for more romance modules, but
Certainly.
only so much time.
Yeah.
Well, we don't
Yeah.
want to
I think,
distract you from the travel. I mean, there have to be
yeah.
priorities.
Right, right.
Yeah.
There's that too.
Yeah.
I
And
just think I don't you don't see as much out there for that couples type of plays. So
Neither.
it's what
Mm-mm.
and so that's just a really fascinating like market that you've kind of
I mean,
penetrated and
it's
Created.
you. Yeah. Well, no,
yeah.
really, you create. I mean, we know the couple through the podcast. We know the couple behind Dean Duets,
Mhm.
and they're lovely. But what you're doing is different. This isn't just a duet. Like you said, you created a market for this. Um, and we know there are couples, and we know this transcends gender and age and all of these things. So it'll be really interesting to see, where this goes and with whom it catches fire.
And I
Right.
think I mentioned before we hit record, I'm starting to see like some really professionally well done like video ads for the content too.
Neat.
So
Excellent.
yeah.
that
So
makes us
it's
happy.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
there
which
there are
is
some copycats at this point. There's some
Yeah,
We've had
that,
to deal with some people.
yeah, they've
that's too
actually been
bad.
shut down numerous times on Facebook, and
Mm.
uh, we even occasionally get a note saying, we didn't receive your stuff, and it's like, can you send us
Order.
the order? And it turns out
Yeah.
it wasn't from us, and
Oh, that's too bad.
um, there are some that are
Mm.
showing people playing with physical books, but it's actually just a PDF you download for about the same price as a physical book. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but then people crop up everywhere trying to
I
make me some
suppose so. Yeah,
the more popular you get, the more chances you have of people trying to
taking advantage of it.
take
For
advantage of
sure.
your take
Mhm.
advantage of your
Yeah.
success.
For
Right.
sure.
So
Yeah.
Well, we
yeah,
appreciate you letting us take advantage of your time.
yes,
This has been really unique. This has been a lot of fun. We hope you will stay in touch. Even after you become citizens of the EU. We hope you won't forget us and we can talk again about what comes next.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
that sounds
sounds great.
wonderful. And
Yeah. It was a pleasure to meet you both.
yes, and if you ever make it
yeah.
in our neck of the woods,
Yeah, let us know.
let us know. We'll definitely take you to dinner for some cod or something
Yeah.
whenever.
I
Absolutely.
like
Thank you.
Especially your buffalo. Yeah.
Oh man.
Cathy, Tom, thanks for joining us tonight. Really enjoyed. Yeah, and I just think that it's just a fascinating, like I mentioned before, I use like techie terms and business terms. So I use the term ingress point for like
Hmm.
entry point into games, and it's just a fascinating entry point into games for folks that are interesting. And just hearing how, like
We
Cathy,
appreciate that you've contributed something new to the innovation space around the realm of computing and games.
yeah, it,
Oh
it
God.
and no,
I
and
was just throwing out more random meaningless lingo.
oh, it
Yeah,
worked. It
there you
worked.
go.
And they even said that they had someone that came up and said it saved their marriage and so
It's
I
very
mean,
cool.
that's very cool.
And they are a lovely couple. They're just really nice people.
And you couldn't see it. You couldn't obviously your list all anyone who had subscribed can't see it, but
No.
just watching them interact, it was just so neat to see them
Hmm.
interact and
Hmm.
all that. It was
It's cool to see.
yeah, very cool to see. Um, why don't we head over to Loon Cafe? I know you talked about changing the name of it for our
Well, I
fifth
think we'll keep
edition.
Loon Cafe for now.
Okay, you
Okay,
sure?
good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Should we talk about the names that we mentioned or
I
no?
want to keep all three of our listeners, so we probably shouldn't.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll leave that alone. Okay, will keep the E off of this episode.
Yeah.
Um, I think, obviously I had alluded to this in the preamble to our interview.
You and
I've
your
been
illusions.
I've been deep into the
Hmm.
5e realm.
Hmm.
Um, I have but I've also been as part of that um been like in um like Dragonlance as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I mentioned this in a prior episode. I've been reading through the Chronicles Omnibus
Yep.
volume.
Yep.
Um and that really kind of got it going. And so between that and working through literally working through the player's handbook and the dungeon master's guide as lit,
Nice.
reading them
Oh,
as lit.
cool.
So the 2024 editions of them. So
That's right.
the new revisions,
Hmm.
whether people want to call them 5.5, I think everyone's calling them D&D 2024.
Yep.
Um
Because you can't call them six.
no, that's no people definitely and Wizards doesn't want you calling them that.
Right.
People refuse to call it that. So it is 2024. Um I'm going through that and because I
And
think that's where we would
yeah,
want to
at
do
some
some.
place we're gonna play. At some point we're gonna play. Right? You're
Yes.
gonna GM for us, which is really exciting. I will say I was surprised when you took a pretty hard pivot a while ago now into high fantasy, but I think it feels right for both of us right now.
Yeah, and we've talked about why, because I think there's a greater chance if we do some writing related to adventures and campaigns.
Yeah.
I think if we do some writing, there's a greater chance of it being um in effect. I think there's uh, being noticed
Yeah, well,
if it's
the market space is certainly huge. You know, the OGL allows us to goof around a fair bit. I don't disagree.
yeah. And I mean there's obviously we have there's another area we want to work into with a different license and things like that.
All in
But
good time.
yeah, but ultimately, I think we're going to focus within two areas to start just to keep things. But we have some other writing projects
I was gonna say, yes.
that
Yes,
also
we
are
do.
going to take up some time. So this is not an immediate project. This will be something that will that will be worked on over time.
Yeah, like
In
everything we
be-
do,
yeah,
right? It'll
in between everything else. And this is one of those things where, much like it took us months of preparation and discussion and very deliberate
Yep,
preparation before we launch Dyson Mind. We're going to be
6
doing the
months worth.
same. We're going to
That's
be doing
right.
the same thing before we put anything out, because nothing we're going to put out is going to be half baked.
That's right.
So
Doesn't mean it won't suck, but we're
no,
gonna do a good job with it.
hey, it might suck, but it will be
It'll
suck
be
with deliberation and purpose.
there you go. There
So
you go.
what about you?
Well, sort of on the same note. So, as you know, next episode, 2 weeks from when this one drops, is our 5-year anniversary for Dyson Mind.
Yes,
It'll actually predate it by 5 days, but it's the closest
close
episode.
enough.
And that is surreal and wonderful. And what we have done with some of our anniversary episodes is to, talk about where the podcast has been, where it's going, etc. I think we've decided together that our fifth anniversary episode or 5-year anniversary episode is going to be much the same, but maybe with a bit greater intention. Like you and I, in the next week or so, as we record this now, are going to start to plan that out. But there are things we both want to talk about, things that are going to be, I think, very future oriented in terms of and I'll just say this here, though you and I, Brad, haven't really talked about this, but one of my favorite podcasts offers annually a state of the podcast uh, episode,
Yes,
a special episode. And I'm thinking more than anything, maybe if you're on board, that's what this next one is going to begin. Where instead of us just kind of riffing wide of things we might like to do and general ideas, we'll talk about some specific plans of, where we are planning to take Dyson Mind, and maybe even suggest some time horizons, be they 1 year, be they 3 years, whatever it is. And
I think it's a
so,
great idea.
yeah, thanks. I think so. So I think maybe stay tuned, everybody, for the state of Dyson Mind in a couple weeks. That's what we're gonna do. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Until that time, you know the deal. Be well, stay well. We will see you in a couple of weeks.